Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. I had some interesting thoughts. I thought they're interesting about oil, petroleum, because there are a lot of people who are very, very worried about it. They hate oil with a passion. They will do anything to get us to quit using oil, and they think it's going to run out, and every time we drill for it, it's a huge disaster and catastrophe. They want to stop using oil, and let's just look at the history of warfare in the 20th century. For World War I, there was massive fighting over oil fields in the Middle East and Egypt and Iraq and stuff. World War II, the Balkans, as well as Africa and the Middle East. Today the area in contention, of course, is still the Middle East. This has been a long story because it's such a potent source of energy that if you don't have it during wartime, oil that is, you're at a sore disadvantage. So I want to pose the question, what if we did, as some of these greenheads want to do, what if we did give up using petroleum? What if we stopped using petroleum? It would take, first of all, 350 million electric cars, or however many cars there are in America. It would take a bunch of electric cars, and then we'd have to have a whole bunch of power plants to produce all that electricity, none of which could run on oil. Fine, let's say that happens, and we find some way to fly airplanes. Maybe we invent, a usable steam engine that runs on coal that can fly. And you get this economy set without oil. Now, the rest of the world still got oil, it's still going to use oil. Or somebody's going to use it. You're not going to be able to get oil, everybody on the planet, to stop using it. That would be a complete dark age if you could actually stop the world from using oil. It would be a dark age. There'd be no other way to stop people from using it except to cause a dark age, to make them think that the end of the world's coming, God's coming, the environment's blowing up, you have to stop using oil. You would cause a dark age if you got people to believe that and really practice it. So, someone in the world somewhere is going to end up using oil, even if we don't. Even if whatever country you're in goes the virtuous route and becomes oil-free, as it were. That is a massive, massive amount of energy available now to your enemy in wartime. And unless you've got something that dwarfs it, so that you, even without oil, can do anything you want, power-wise, then you're going to have oil. Oil is the only source of energy we know of that is potent enough to run our civilization. There's no way that we should even try to daydream about cutting it out of our economy, or even reducing. I think we should completely increase, which should continue to increase, our use of oil. Now, someday, we will hit peak oil, but everybody keeps saying that, and we just haven't. Let's give it 50 years and see what happens. Let's give it 20 at least. Let's give it 100, I think. And if we hit peak oil, then the price will start going up as the availability goes down, and it'll be like that. It won't be a judgment day and a disaster where all of a sudden the price goes to infinity and the availability goes to zero. No, it'll be it'll go like that. The availability of oil will go down this way on the chart, and the price will go up. And inside this area here is called the conversion to electric cars. Once it gets up there, you just won't have any more gas cars. Fine, it might be 50 years, but it's not happening now. And they keep on saying it's happening now. All these greens are pulling their hair out every year. Surprised they're not bald yet. And it just never arrives. They always say we're about to run out of oil. Well, remember that it's not just a stupid idea, but it's an actual dangerous idea for our national security. If we were to not use oil, since it has been the key to the wars of the last 100 years, imagine giving up the key to all the wars, what people were fighting all the wars for. Only if we went with nuclear power plants from one side of this country to the other and top to bottom, big nuclear power plants produce a lot of electricity. And even then, we'd be hard-pressed. What are you going to do for airplanes? They're going to have to, maybe that'd be the only thing we would use petrol for, would be aircraft. It's a stupid idea, it's dangerous, and it gives our enemy a massive, whoever our enemy is or would become. Because as soon as like Winston Churchill said, weakness brings aggression. If you're weak, people will be aggressive against you. That's a law of history. And if we gave up the most important and potent source of energy known to man right now, if we gave up on it, it would be a completely disaster. So anyone who wants to cut down on the amount of oil we're using, flip a booger on them. If they want to eliminate the use of oil in our economy, possibly physical force. That's not true. You should probably just walk away and let them starve their own mind.